Hi, I'm Daniel. You may know me as Audio Mocha. We're going to go ahead and continue the tutorial series on how to get your DMX lights working along with your DAW. So this tutorial is going to cover how to get your lights flash to MIDI notes, whether they come from a drum plugin, a synthesizer, just about anything that you can think of. So for this, now we're going to, the prerequisites for this are, hopefully you've gone through my past tutorial on how to get your lights set up with QLC Plus 5. Yeah, you will need a virtual MIDI cable. I've used LoopMIDI and LoopMIDI. I tend to use LoopMIDI, so I'll go ahead and show LoopMIDI at this moment. After you got LoopMIDI installed, one important step that you must take is that you must create a new LoopMIDI device. So to create a new LoopMIDI port, you're gonna need to first set a port name. You can leave it as default. I'm gonna go ahead and set it up as tutorial, so it will become nice and obvious. We can see it right there that we got our new tutorial MIDI port. Next up, we're going to hop over into the input output tab of QLC Plus. So we're going to select this row with Universe 1, and we're going to click on the Show the Universe Input Sources. You can see right now that I have LoopMIDI port as one of them. I'm going to go ahead and set my new one, or I'll show you it. I'm going to go ahead and keep mine. And we see that it's actually not showing up. We'll need to restart QLC Plus. I'm going to open the file once again. Select my universe in the Input Output tab. And there it is. We can find our tutorial MIDI cable. We can go ahead and drag that over to the inputs of Universe 1. Now we're going to hop into Reaper, go over into Options. We don't care about any input from our LoopMIDI cable inside of our DAW. We just care about the output. So I'm going to double click on Tutorial, and I'm going to enable output to this device and send the clock to this device. The reason that you want to send clock to this device is because QLC Plus has the ability for you to synchronize along with your music, which means for things like chasers where you have fade-ins and fade-outs, instead of having a hard-coded millisecond value, you can use beat values instead. So you can have a light fade-out in an eighth of a beat, which is incredibly useful. So I highly recommend sending clock to this device. We're gonna go ahead and click OK, enable that device, and next up, after that, we're gonna go ahead and test. I'm gonna add my virtual instrument. It's gonna be, I use Jamsticks, which is a virtual drum that comes with a virtual drum kit that comes with many different kinds of grooves. It's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open that up. I'll just go ahead and use the default options, and there we have Jamsticks. I'll go ahead and clear. I just want to make some basic rock. Just add a whole bunch of verses, and there, create song. So let's take a listen of what this sounds like. We've got our kit ready. We've got the grooves ready. Let's go ahead and take a listen. All right, we have that working. Next step that I will take, I'm going to go here. I'm going to right click on my volume fader to bring out the routing options for my VST. I'm going to go here to MIDI hardware output, and I'm going to set it to tutorial. Now I'm going to go ahead and start my groove again. And I want you to take a look at this tutorial, at the total data, how it keeps increasing. And another thing that I want to look out for, so if you take a look at the green dot here on the tutorial MIDI cable, you saw that it was flashing green, which confirms that we are receiving MIDI signals from Reaper. Next up, we're going to set up a flash. So we're going to head over to the Simple Desk. This is the easiest way I found of creating a scene, which is QLC Plus 5 of calling what I will say is a moment in time. I guess in my case, I want to have my kick to show up green. So I'm going to go ahead and set my intensity maximum and my green channel to maximum. And now I'm going to click here on the Dump DMX Values on a Scene button on the top right corner of QLC Plus. we're going to go ahead and leave it to dump to a new scene, and I'm going to call this Kick Flash. I'm going to leave everything else as default. We want to make sure that our intensity and the RGB channels are being saved to this scene, and we're going to click OK. Now we have a brand new scene. So we're going to hop on over to the heart of all custom functionality of QLC Plus, the virtual console. So in the virtual console, we're going to click at the top right corner in the function manager. We can see that we have our Kick Flash scene in the top right corner, and we're going to go ahead and drag that onto the virtual console page. We've created a button. There are other ways of doing this. This is just the fastest way. There's more manual ways that you can create a button, such as pressing this new widget on the console. I prefer doing it this way. So now let's test out by clicking this Kick Flash button, and we can see that my light has turned on. However, notice that the light turns on and stays on, but I want to make sure that this light is only turns on for just a second, flashes whenever it receives a kick. So what I'm going to do, I am going to enable the edit mode, and then I'm going to click on our brand new button. And here we see the pressure behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the pressure from toggle to flash. Now I'm going to disable the edit widget mode, and I'm going to press the Kick Flash button, and we can see that when I click it, it just momentarily flashes. This leads up into the next step of having the MIDI output control this Kick Flash. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hop over into Reaper. I'm going to use the virtual MIDI keyboard, which right now I'll go ahead and set it so that my plugin is listening to it. And I happen to know that C2 activates the kick drum on Jamsticks. Using this, I will hop back into QLC Plus, and I'm going to open, and this is inside of the edit mode for our Kick Flash button. I'm going to go to external controls, and I'm going to click here on add an external controller input. So now one thing you'll notice is that this magic wand is blue. That means auto detection is enabled. Anything that it detects coming in from this universe will be detected here. So now I'm going to hop back into Reaper, and just so you can see that's why my camera switches back and forth, I'm going to press this kick button. Now we switch back into QLC Plus, and you will see that now we have a channel 165 on Universe 1 has been auto-filled in here for our Kick Flash button. So now I will disable edit mode. I will hop right back into Reaper, and I'm going to enable my groove. Notice here how when I activate when the groove activates the kick, my light will also flash. So we can see that we've successfully been able to map that MIDI output to trigger this kick flash. Now this effect looks pretty cool, but honestly it looks a little bit too sudden in the sense that I want to have a little bit of a fade out after each kick. So for that, we're gonna hop into the next tutorial on how to use chasers so we can have better looking lights activated by our drums. Alright, I hope that this tutorial was helpful, and I'll see you next time.